I don't know. I'm going to work. That's what I'm going to do tonight. We know what we got to do. We're going to do it. That's our goal. Do work, get work done. Make sure my channels open up so I can see it. There we go. I'm actually working on a way to test my new node-based system. Node, don't you node? And that's what I'm doing. All right. So let's see here. What was I doing before I got completely distracted by life? Create context. Do I save the context? I don't think so. I think this is okay. So we'll use... It's a map graph, right? Yeah, let's go. So when we do create context, we want to get the map graph, base node current graph. I really want to pass in the map scene, actually. I don't really think I need... Do I need to even... Oh, shoot. I do need to write it. Okay. Let's do that. Got it. Yeah, I'm going to work on some node stuff. I decided that I'm going to change fundamentally how the character movement works on a map. Because the current way is like really, really tied into the small game builder stuff. And even though I still have to be a little tied into it, I'm going to try to like not tie it in as much. So let me think here. What do I want to do? We get context. Oh no, you know what I need to do? I have to, you know what? Nothing I'm going to do. I'm going to go. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm gonna pretend like I know what I'm doing. Yeah, because that's how we write code. We just pretend most of the time. And then we fail miserably sometimes. And that's okay. This is a map graph. So what I need is a button. Do I want to... I think I'll do like a button. So I'll make like a tree and leave. Button. Button. What do I want to do for the button? Public void. Oh, I guess it's private void. We don't really care. Button. Who's got the button? I've got the button. So much button. Hey, Cowboy. Hey, person who watches me stream a lot and showed up on my list. There is a list. We have been checking that list. Checking a list, making it twice. Making a list, checking it twice. So what I want is maybe just like run graph. Probably. Except it'd be like that. Okay. Run graph. Game graph. Game map graph. Excuse you. I mean me. You were my most watched human. I don't know. I'm watching you. Thank you for being my most watched person. Most watchable person. Most watching person. The person that watches me carefully. So we're going to do private void. Actually, we'll do public. Bool is running, maybe? Like that. It's nice to have you around. I'm glad that you watch me and come back even after I disappear for a while. Like I did. Okay, so now we need a runner. Do private map graph runner. Is that what I called it? Yeah. And I think I'll just make a new version. Oh shoot, do I have to pass in values to it? What do I have to pass into it? The graph. Oh, okay, so we'll do on awake, I guess. I don't like how Unity does this weird, like, you're overriding this, but you're not overriding it thing. Which is, I think it's using reflection. I mean, if they, you know, I know that overhead isn't as bad as it used to be, but... Oh, I saw your, oh, I see what you're saying. Holy moly, you've earned a lot of channel points, too. And yet, we never talk anymore. What's going on? Why don't you ever talk to me? Why don't we ever have, you know, our long walks on the beach and stuff? I don't get it. Kids are not in bed yet. That was a huge thump. I don't even know if you heard that, but it was loud. So when we create this, it should create context. This won't. This is not correct though. This is not correct at all. Okay. So we need to like. Can we just get the context from the current graph? I think we could. So what we could do is say context equals graph. No. Is it current graph? No. Where do we put the current graph? Oh, we don't. Starting graph, current graph. It would be the starting graph, I think. Because that's where our context starts. So, public. I guess just call it graph. Although graph would be the current graph, right? Like that. Why is it? It's because it's not being used? It could be made protected? No. Protect this. I'm going to set the graph to the context. Whatever it is. We're not even going to make a new version of it. Because it's implicitly a map graph context. I actually have to go into the office tomorrow. So, I think this is going to be a shorter stream. An hour or so. Hour or two, maybe. So by 10-ish, 10:15, I should be wrapping up. Because going to the office means I get up at like 6:10 in the morning. So I can drive in. It's a long drive, baby. So no energy for me tonight. Just boring old Motzi working on things. And trying to remember what I was doing at any given moment, which is totally not normal for me. Run graph. Okay. So we have awake, we create the graph, then we say if not is running, then run is running equals true. And then we have to decide how we stop it. So I think we check the runner state. Or maybe we'd use is running of the graph itself. Because we have runner state. I could say something like public bool is running. So that as long as it's running, it'll keep going and then stop. That's probably makes more sense. So I don't really need the Boolean value here. What I could use this for is I could just sort of publish. Nah, screw it. I'm just gonna get rid of you. Right? Like, so then it won't really matter. So it'll be like if this dot map graph runner dot is running, because right now I don't have like run types, which I can add later. So this part doesn't matter either, because we'll just say run. If it's running, it'll run anyway. It doesn't matter. It's fine. Okay. So this is my little like test. I've revised how my moving of characters on the map is going to work. So last time I was just working on, can I get nodes running? And then I started making everything worse, as I usually do. I started completely revising how the beginning of the battle system works. Because right now the battle system is started in the Smile Game Builder way. And I'm really trying to extract how that works. Last time I was trying to get characters to move around and I was using coroutines and that was the problem. So I've made this thing called a map actor. And to be fair, ChatGPT made it, and then I'm going to have to do a lot of work to make it work. But at least gave me like the pieces, and then I got to go and like, you know, unbreak it because ChatGPT, let's be real, is stupid. In many ways, this is so terrible. And so just you and me here, Killboy, I'll tell you, okay? Just don't tell anybody else. I've, you know, in the length of my career, I have worked with a lot of people. I work with a lot of developers and non-developers. Okay, but don't you username that's good. That's good. You aren't of an age where it's going to matter because you're not like, you don't work at my company. So it's okay. All I'm good. So it's just Killboy and a username that is good. We're set. So don't tell anybody else, okay? Because this is like, I don't think I'd get in trouble, but let me just, I'm going to, without being specific, but somewhat implying, I am used to working with people of all types. And by types, I mean not of any sort of diverse or related things. I'm just talking about like how people operate, like behavioral differences. And one thing that I've learned recently is that working with people is a lot like working with worse versions of ChatGPT. It's like in ChatGPT, you're like, here, let me fully explain all the details to you. And then ChatGPT, like an eager puppy, says, great, thank you. I'll do everything you want. And it'll like lay it all out. And oh, wow, that's so good. Okay. You look like you're going to be able to do what I'm saying. Perfect. Here's what I want you to do next. Now that you understand this, do that. And then it'll do something that kind of looks close to like, oh, okay. Well, okay, you're almost there. And then you'll be like, tweak. And humans are like that, but less good at specifics. There are times where I'm like, oh my God, it's like I'm talking to ChatGPT, but it can't even do the basics. I just can't. I can't sometimes, man. Told my uncle I'm trying to get into game dev, and he kept telling me that ChatGPT can do all the work. It can. No, it can't. Another interesting thing that I've been talking with people about, I kept telling them that's not how it works exactly. You get it. Is that even if it did, okay, check this out. See if this even resonates with anybody around here. If ChatGPT, if you could say, hey, make me a game that does X, and then it goes, okay, blah, 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 here's your game. I think people would be uninterested in it. Like, not people, not even like the people who might play it. I mean, the person who prompted it and it says, here's your game. And you're like, oh, you gave me exactly what I asked for. I think you'd be like, okay, I'll move on with my life now. Because it's like empty calories. If the thing does all the work for you and all you did was give it like the idea, I think you'd be kind of like, I mean, some people will be like, okay, how can I turn this into money? But even that is interesting because what they're doing then is they're not actually working on making a game. They're working on making money. And so they're still doing the activity that they feel fulfilled in, whatever that happens to be, presuming they're able to make money out of it. Because if anyone could just prompt a game and get it, there's not going to be any inherent value to that you can sell. So that's what's so interesting to me about the apparent appeal of ChatGPT versus the actual outcome. If it can do everything for you, then you kind of loses its flavor or interest. That's my argument. That's my point. I think that's what's going to happen. As AI advances, people are going to realize it's just not as interesting. As much as amazing things it could do, because there isn't like the human element of the creativity, as you're saying, there'd be no creativity in it. Yeah, you need like your own little spin. Even if you could tell it to do your spin, it's just like there's just something lacking if it can just do it for you. I don't know what it is. So I like it as a partnership, but not with a human, but it's like a symbiosis where I use it as a sounding board and I use it to sort of templatize things for me and get me started. But then I have to dig in. And I found it so many times, it'll give me stuff like, wow, that basically solves what I want. And then I'm like, well, let me get into it. And also, by the way, it's really bad actually at solving most things. But, it's like, oh, that's great that you did this, but now I want to I just want to do it my way, It's just so funny. If I'm working with a team of people, I don't feel quite that way because the team of people, they're like little automatons, right? Journey along the way is missing. Just, yeah. You just arrive at the end. You're like, I'm here. Now what? Oh, there's a mountain. So I could either climb the mountain or I could walk up a path or I can take a helicopter. And you fly the helicopter to the top of the mountain. You're like, okay, I mean, sure, interesting view. I'm at the top of a mountain, but there's no sense of accomplishment, right? So it's so fascinating to me to watch the development of that thought process. And I think a lot of people have already realized this the more they try to use these tools, but I still think there's also this sort of buzz around, oh, AI can do all these things for you. It's like, even if it could, it doesn't matter. It's just not as important. We need the sense that we can create change and make change. And everyone has a different level of that, I suppose. Not everyone needs a lot of change or a lot of experience or a lot of struggle or challenge. Everyone's level of challenge is different. But there's got to be something. It can't just be, okay, I had like a little idea and here we go. Hey, Nirwanda. Good. Working. I have to go to the office tomorrow. So I'm, trying to be somewhat, I don't know what I'm going to do. Somewhat reasonable about my time tonight. So on Saturday, I was working on the battle system and I was trying to figure out my next step. I was like, oh, I should make a setup graph. Incidentally, no, I shouldn't make a setup graph. I realized that's a bad idea. But in the process of that thought, I'm like, oh, I'm going to just tear everything apart, which I've done. Hey, Sorrow, my favorite Sorrow person. How's your game going, by the way? Yeah, you're on my list of people who watch me most. I was touched, but not physically touched because I don't think I've ever met you in person, unless I have and you're just not telling me, in which case maybe you touched me appropriately. Very slow and not really steady, but happening. Sometimes you just got to do. Sometimes you just got to do. So I have made all, God, I don't think I'm a normal game developer in any sense of the term. I'm not normal because of the, like, there are people that do what I do. They like try to, but there's also like the people who want that think like I do and are also very capable of doing this sort of methodical, complex things. And even like clean code and really good patterns, and they just get, like just kind of get it done. And I have like aspirations for that. And I think like I got to do things the right way, but I also have this weird tendency to make things worse for myself a lot. I think it's Math Graph Manager. There we go. And it's just such a funny thing about myself that I accept, and I just think it's funny. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That's just what I wanted to say. Thanks for listening. Do I even make a graph or a folder for this? I guess I'll do it in here for now. I'm not saying that I'm like somehow specially unique, but of the people I've watched work on game dev and the people I've talked to about game dev, I can see that there's a distinct difference in how I think of things. We have a really talented developer doing some contract work for us, who was recommended by someone from we have like a game dev group. And this person is, I think, quite capable. And I was talking to him about the battle stuff, and I was like, hey, I might want to have you help me with battles. And he goes, okay, well, maybe we should talk about it. It's like, yeah, after you get your next task done, whatever. And so I said, well, I can't explain it all. And then I start typing and typing and typing. And he goes, oh, why don't you just build it from scratch? Because I don't think it's better to do it that way. Where's the game? Oh, do I not have the game map graph? It might not be creatable. Let me go take a look here. Yeah, battles. Although, like on Steam, someone who was very nice about it, but they're like, what were they saying? What does unique turn-based combat mean? And they're like, what do you mean unique turn-based combat? This isn't unique at all. And I was like, yeah, well, I could tell you so many stories about this experience. There's a lot of aspirational communication that happened when we were doing some of the initial work and getting our Steam page up and all that stuff. Like, we believed that within a shorter time frame, we'd have our battle system really what we want it to be. Uniquely coded. Yeah, basically. We truly believed that we would make it unique. And then what happened was we started seeing what other people do. And we realized that, like, it's hard to be special. That's all. It's hard to be special in this world. We went to that OTK. We're part of that OTK Winter Games Expo, and we didn't know what to expect. It sounded like it was a bunch of indie devs, but like it wasn't a bunch of indie devs like our level indie devs. It was like A-level indie devs, people who have studios and money and voiceover trailers and like really freaking amazing looking games. And we kept watching these trailers like, oh, we're completely outclassed by all of these things. The way the polish, the production value, I can't even. Although there's one thing I've learned, Matzi, you're an A-level indie dev in my mind. Oh, Saro, thank you for saying that, even though it's not true. I appreciate it. Also, I don't know if I want to be a dev. I like solving problems. I don't want to be like a game dev for real. I really do want to be able to collaborate with somebody who can bring some of my vision to life without me having to do all the work. I'd like that to be a reality. That would be my preference. Mainly because there's so many other things that are required to run a company that aren't just making the game. And one of the things I've realized is that if you want, at least from what I've observed, with rare exception, if you want to be successful at something, you can't expect to be doing the thing that is the execution-oriented activity. So if I want a game studio, if I want Dratzy Games to be more successful, I cannot build games as my main thing. I can't. Because there's too many. I'd be better as a producer of things at the company, or just running the company itself and providing guidance and stuff, rather than being the one that's building things out. Because it's not feasible to do that and everything else. It's not. And some of the things they really don't technically need me. Like, other than the fact that we have no money to pay someone to just build us a new battle system, right? That's the bigger problem, is money. Money and time, baby. What did I want to do? So I want to... the plains north is what we have. So what I want to do... Oh, God. I forgot that all of the... Oh, man. I really just made my life hard with this thing. I think that when I dedicate myself to one thing, I can do some pretty good work. I just don't think that, long term, I don't think it would make sense for me to just be a developer. It'd make a whole lot more sense for me to work on a little tiny bit of development, maybe. But as long as we have a developer that can do the things that are necessary, it just doesn't need me. Let's see, Plains North. I think if I were going to do development with a game dev studio, I would be more interested in messing around with tools, or just doing prototyping, experimenting and stuff like that, rather than doing the production level work. I don't think the production level work needs me. I think I make things worse when I do production work. I think legitimately I make things worse by doing production work. Is it this one right here? Is that what it is? Let's see. Trying to find the identifier. Well, what the heck, man? It's what is the thing? Map override configuration. What's the ID then? I think this is the map override config. That's the map. Oh, that's the map GUID. Why can't I get the stupid ID of this thing? Really? I can't get its ID? That's dumb. Okay, let me think. How do I do this? I think I can get it from something. Map GUID. This has its own identifier. Why can't I get the ID? Context ID? No. I guess I could just go find the file. Okay, we'll just find the file. So it's 7A2D. Everyone remember 7A2D. 7A2D. There you go. 7A2D. That's the one right there. Tutti fruity. Oh, Rudy. Why is there an ID in this thing? The map graph has an ID. It's not that important. Okay. So somehow I lost. There it is. Nodes, graph. Where's my button at? Map graph manager. Did I make a button? Is it because it's private? Sure. Show in inspector, I guess. Show in inspector. Oh no, this is because I was looking at the graph, not at the editor. That's why. I'm dumb. Buttons show up automatically, I think. Well, now we get to wait. Luckily, I have upgraded to Unity 6, so you can see the Unity 6 builds are way slower. Actually, I've learned that the reason my builds are slower is because of all the serialized objects I have, and the graph system has a lot of initializers in it. So whenever I make changes and I have had graphs open, it's like, oh, we got to go call all this update crap. Okay, run graph. And so we need to have this map graph be in here. And I think it will work. So this is our graph. We don't have anything associated with it, which is interesting. Dialogue? Why do we have dialogue? That's crazy. I'm really interested why those nodes are available. Okay, so we're going to go to game map graph. We need to look at how we do the battle map graph. Battle graph. Battle sequence graph editor. There we go. We need to steal the logic in here and then revise it. This is in battle.editor. So we'll go to node graphs.editor. Game map graph editor. I think we do base graph editor. What is it? Base node graph editor? Node graph editor. Why is that not working? Oh. There you go. So we want to have the graph nodes available, and we don't want any of the story nodes. So that should be okay. Wait another 20 seconds, we'll be all set. How do you get more bounce in a waterbed? Put some spring water. Want water in it. I returned my lizard to the pet store because he wouldn't stop telling dad jokes. That's not a lizard, the clerk says. That's a stand-up chameleon. Isn't this the type of graph that I want? Game map graph? Did I not? Oops, I must have missed a step. I think there's like something I have to do to link it to the map. Here it is. Type of game map graph. There you go. That should be okay. What does unique turn-based combat mean? It means nothing. And you get nothing. Unique in that it doesn't work. Y'all heard about the hero chef? I heard he has supper powers. All right, let's see here. So we'll say is player for now, because that'll give us the ability to move the player. We'll move the player right 2. That's all we're gonna do. So we're gonna see if we can just get this stupid node to work. And I'm pretty sure that the way our graph runner works is it'll just look for the first entry node it finds. I'm pretty sure. Get default entry node. Yes, that's what it does. Why is it doing this dot graph? There you go. Yeah, so it just finds the first entry node that it can. Okay. That should work. So now we need to make sure that move actor itself is going to work, and we're going to have to do we're going to have to cheat and do a player lock because I don't actually have locking set up. Let's see. Just heard my wife laugh. Don't know what that means. Sounds ominous, actually. Okay, so we're gonna do game main dot instance, nope, little lowercase instance dot current map scene. What are you laughing about over there?
The Bluetooth kid song turned on. Ba, ba, ba,
Oh, because they were playing with it. Yeah.
like, what? That's all.
Scare you?
I didn't want it to bother.
Oh, it didn't. The laughter bothered me more. Just kidding. Okay, what was I doing? Current map scene dot player lock equals 1. Right. So we're just gonna force lock the player because they don't care. Or wait, we'll do it on the button. There you go. So I'll just make sure that the player locks so we can run our code. And then let's go look at our move actor command. So when we run this, it's gonna, if it's not, though is processing is false, iterate null on begin, resolve the target. So this will get the target that's selected. I need to figure out, let's see, map target resolver. Resolve battle target. If it's not a battle, don't like this solution, but if it's a map graph one, then we'll make a resolve map target. That probably makes the most sense. Create method, sure. And then we'll say target equals null. That's good. If it's player, then target equals map context dot map. Dot. What do we pass into it? What is the map? Map context dot current map scene. Hero on map. There you go. Did I make that? I must have made that. We'll comment these other ones out for now because we don't care. I really don't like this song. I should try to remove this song from my list. I don't know what it is about this song. It just kind of gets to my nerves, on my nerves. Okay, so we know for sure we're the player, so we're good. So that should resolve properly. I don't know if the hero ends up with the right thing, because we should be able to get an actor which is something I added, like a character on the map. If actor equals null, I don't care. Return. I don't like that. This is where the ChatGPT nonsense comes in, but I'm gonna leave it for now. Target position is processing. Move to, good to go. On execute. Hey, Mendoza? What are you up to? Where have you been all your life? How goes the important management responsibilities? On begin, hold on, then we go on execute. Where does the iterator get set? Do I have an iterator? I don't want an iterator though. I don't even care about this. No iterator. Screw you, iterator. Get rid of it. Okay. So we don't have an iterator now. We don't need one. So then we're going to call target move to. Oh, but we have target position. How does this work? If option is to point. Okay. I don't like this part. Because I'm pretty sure the point is not defined that way. We'll just comment it out for now. I'm not a CTO, CIO like you. So does that mean you're not important? Okay. I'm glad I know where we stand. Because you know what I spent my day doing, Mendoza? I spent my day telling client service people how to client service. But not like teaching them how, just like, did you ask this? Did you do that? Hey, this is a critical issue. Have you followed up? Get on the phone call with the vendor. Like, why am I telling you all this stuff? Move option is move to actor or to target. No. Don't really care about that either. So I don't want any of this stuff. So this is where, like, ChatGPT has no freaking idea what it's doing. Just like none. So what I'm going to do instead is, if target character, whatever, we're going to just do this right here and see. Actually, I don't even care what it does. I'm going to do this.actor.move by direction. What does this take? Int direction? Babysitting sounds like, seriously, it's just so dumb. It's so dumb. We're gonna make DX1. DX1, baby. DX1. I don't care what direction. It's just gonna be 1. This dot steps is what? 1? How many steps? 3. Oh wait, that says it's direction though. That's weird. Steps is 3. Okay. We're gonna make it move 3. And then on move complete, I don't give a crap about. Babysitting is not fun. Especially when it's like other people who have management titles. Just seems like I shouldn't have to babysit that. So move my direction. If character equals null, return. Okay, so this loves early returns. Use the UCAR engine's walk functionality for grid movement. Okay, sure. Direction is 1. Okay. I don't know why it's like. Oh, I see. It's saying DX. Case 3. Oh, I see. It's down. Okay, I don't care. This is where, like, okay, so then it does this weird freaking nested bullshit. Bullshit. Where it, like, does an individual step. Now, thankfully, step is something. What are the values it really needs? Remaining steps? I think we can just put that in. I think we can hoist it, as they say. Hoist it up. Make it a field. I lost my faith in you, man, a long time ago already. Yeah. Rogue Phoenix. Hey, how's your buddy doing that I know? Something about boy, something. Or have you gone rogue from your Phoenix collective? Why are you crying, though? Just because people? I think that's all we need. Isn't all we need? I guess on complete is the only thing that we would need. But I think we could also make on complete be a thing that we store. So I'm going to store it just so I can actually have... I don't want this step thing to be inside. I hate this. This is what ChatGPT did. It did a move by direction method, and then it added a literal inner function with a return type, and I am livid. And then I went back to him like, no, don't do that. And it's like, okay, I won't do that. And then it continued to do that. It's just like, shut your face. And then I was like, oh, this is like working with humans. Because AS is not released yet. I'm sorry, Rogue. I want it to be. See what I'm saying, though? It's like, it's exactly like working with humans. Can that be referenced in the source function? Okay, I don't give a shit. What? Oh, wait, it refactored itself into itself? Are you a dumbass? Oh my god. So annoying. Okay, well, it also has dicks and stuff too that we gotta worry about. So I think that I'll do... I'm going to put everything... I'm going to hoist it all right now. Because when I refactor it, I'll like give it proper names. And still in the mode where I just want to get it to work. I mean, to be fair, I did tell it to refactor some really old style code into something more modern. So I'm getting the idea in spot. Because one of my other methods is if I'm not really sure how I want to do something, I see if I could just get something bad working and then I can refactor it. But I need to get something functional so then I can break it apart into something more meaningful. I don't really care about whether it's linear or not, but I'll do it. Fine. Hey, Tom Sutton. It has what and stuff? Dix, DX. And does. And D. DY. DX and stuff. Just sounds like I'm saying something else, but I'm not. It's talking like it. No. It's not like talking to either. It's like talking to an overeager savant that knows a lot of stuff but doesn't know how to use it. You can ask any question and get things back that have some verisimilitude. but it's like overeager, like it's a puppy, right? Oh, I can do anything. I can solve any problem you want. You just tell me what you want and I'll do it. You know, it's almost like you had a brand new employee, like a junior level developer that was really stinking smart. They had like a lexicon of things in their head, but they just never learned how to properly apply it. So like they know the theory of all this stuff, but you got to like hold their hand through it all. As opposed to people you work with who are like worse versions of that, because not only do you have to explain it almost as much to those people, but they also don't have the savant side of it where they're like, I know all these things. It's like, well, I can't work with you with what you know because you don't know anything. So now not only do I have to ask questions in painful detail, I also have to teach you the answers to those questions. And the thing is, like, I'm not sure which one I get more value out of sometimes. Because in ChatGPT, you end up going in circles because eventually it just loses its ability to answer your questions. Am I just saying I hate working with people? No, it's fine. I mean, the reality is, it's great working with people because then you have something to complain about. And that's the key, right? You really want to have the ability to complain about things to people. Or not to people, about people. It is super important to have that capability. And like, I know people complain about me. There's plenty of people who complain about the way that I lead. So I'm not even in a situation where I think I'm right about all of it. I'm pretty certain there's a lot of people that are really unhappy with the way that I do things. And I just don't give a flip. If you can't complain, you shouldn't work. Exactly. Just give up, go home. Ooh, excuse me. Crap, it has its dicks and its D's. Okay, D's dicks. You're paid in part for the frustration? Yeah, I don't think I get compensated enough for that in that case. The more sort of like, so I have a manager. Well, she doesn't report to me anymore because I moved back to the development. You're paid. She's like, but I told them what they need to do, so I just thought they would do it. And I was like, oh, sweet summer child, you just don't know. You just don't understand. Management, you think that's how management is? If that's how management was, I would be in heaven. If you could say, here's what you need to do. And the person's like, okay, understood. Thank you for your feedback. I'm going to go do it. Yeah. And at some point you just have this moment where you're like, okay, is it more worth my time to try to correct this behavior with this person or to just move on and work around it? And sadly, you know, at some point it's just not worth it. At some point you realize no matter what effort you put into it, they will not change. And actually that's another fundamental thing I've learned about working at companies. Just managing people. You ever, you know, they say like first impressions are really important. But there's a reason for that with people who are really experienced, because whatever behavior you see in the beginning is likely going to be there forever. And it's funny, like you think, oh, you know, they just had some weirdness because it was the interview process. That'll change. Or, oh, they just started and they did this weird thing, but that's probably just a weird one-off. No, the entire rest of your career working with a certain person, that's exactly how they're going to be. With rare exception will those people change. So if there's something that makes you go, huh, that's what it's going to be like. I liken it to the notion of trees. You know, when you talk about a tree growing and like, oh, we need to trim this limb that's coming off. People assume, no, you don't, because the tree's going to grow and that limb is going to move up. No, it will not. If there's a limb near the bottom of a tree, it'll be there forever. So if you know the tree's going to get big, chop those limbs off to make, whatever. Like, that's how you're supposed to. But it's like, you assume because the tree grows up that things will go with it. It's like, no, that's not how trees work. It's not how humans work either. Just so you know, in case you were wondering. Okay, so now we're gonna say like is walking, I guess. Using the employment process, they know if you're right for the job in the first 2 minutes. Yeah, I don't know if I do. I don't think that in an interview, it's fair to say how the interview starts is a strong indicator on whether I'd hire somebody. I do need to go through rounds of interview. There are behavior patterns that become evident that you're like, yeah, that's always going to be the behavior pattern. But that's not necessarily meaning that you shouldn't hire them. I had people who in the first 5 minutes, I'm like, they're not a fit. And by the last 25 minutes, I'm like, oh, actually, they turned me around. A lot of time we have assigned people to work in production environment and they sink or swim. Yeah. I don't make them sing. I mean, they could. Oh. But my philosophy in interviewing too is that I don't think I can make an adequate decision about somebody in 30 minutes anyway. I can know whether they're worthwhile talking to further for further discovery, but I couldn't tell you whether they would make a good hire. And even if I have a day or two with a person, I couldn't tell you for sure if they're a long-term good fit. It is really stinking hard to make good hiring decisions. There's a lot of factors you can look at to make to decide. But yeah, that's another way to do it, right? You do like the contract to hire approach, right? That's another valid, acceptable approach. Okay, so I'm going to start stepping, and I'm not going to worry about making it step. So then we're going to make an update method, public. I don't know how well this is going to work. The notion that I'm going for right now is, so in Smile Game Builder, when you do like a walk, there's a method that controls that from the entire, like from the start of the walk to the finish of the walk. And it's done in like a completely separate object. But what I wanted was the notion of an actor on the map that I can say, hey, you start walking. And then I can check if it's moving to decide if I'm going to let other things make it move, or I can tell it to stop moving. But I don't want, like, as opposed to like this really top-down draconian, I'm controlling every single thing that happens. And I don't know if this is going to open up problems, but it feels right. I don't know. It feels like the way to go with things. So if is moving, then move step, right? And then once we stop moving, character failed to walk. If walked, otherwise, that's good. Then we'll say is moving. Is moving equals false, and then this one will also be is moving equals false, which I think this is just like the steps finished or something. Yeah, there's no more steps left. Okay. So we're going to move by direction. Number of steps is there. This dot remaining steps. Okay. Good. So theoretically, I can make this character move if my code works. It probably won't. What else do I need to do to make this work? I think it's close to being able to work. Technically, since it says player, I can run this on any map too. This is my new node system. I can't wait until I make my new node system. That'll be fun. I think Unity has its own. I don't know if they still have their own graph library or not. I know they had one, and then it got like deprecated, So I don't know if they have something for graphs or not. Xnode works fine. I don't love all of the components. This day and age, this is where I would love to, so like ChatGPT would be great for taking an existing open source library and reswizzling it to what you want it to be. You say, okay, well, here's all this code. All I really want to do is like clean up some fundamentals here, rewrite the code there, you know, just fork it if you got it, baby. It really isn't that great at refactoring, but you know, theoretically it could. Because you have existing code you can work with. Unfortunately, it doesn't understand context of an entire code base, which can be problematic. Okay, so let me just talk through this. What is going to happen in our map graph manager? If I push the button that says run graph, it will lock the player and run the graph. When it gets to the move actor command, excuse me, sorry for burping into the microphone. It triggers this on begin. On begin will tell the character to start walking, presuming it finds a character. And then it keeps triggering this is processing. When the movement is complete, which is the very thing that gets sent in, it sends this to false and it should stop moving. I have no idea if that's how any of this is going to work. But, you know, I'm willing to try. Let's find out. So the possible outcomes are 1, nothing happens. 2, something happens but is like completely off the wall or like, you know, weird. 3, something crashes. So like there's bugs or something and there's error messages. Or 4, it just works. I have no idea which of those things is going to happen. But we're going to find out. Do we have the graph? It's not enabled for some reason. Uh-oh. Okay, so there's a problem. Graph runner doesn't exist because update. That doesn't make any sense, actually. I'm actually confused by that one. Did it fail to start? What happened here? So this is awake. There's the game map graph. It's right there. It is serialized, isn't it? Let me see. Maybe I didn't serialize it. Oh, okay. No, it's serialized. Map graph runner is going to equal a runner based on this. I guess I could check if this is null. I don't really like that, but... You want to go in a pattern? You want to become a pattern? Sure. Screw it. You can be a pattern. You're allowed. Why are cows so good at stealth? They're made of... I swear there's jokes I've just never seen in here before. Tequila may not be the answer, but it's worth a shot. The loan officer asked me why I wanted to open a maternity store. I replied, it's a real growth industry. Am I winning at coding? Nope, losing. Tequila, that's really good, yeah. Not so much into tequila. Tequila is my lady. That's from a movie. Oh, this is the problem. So create context is failing because this doesn't have a graph. Because why? Game map graph should exist. Oh, it could be that the game map graph doesn't have a context. I mean, there's one way I can figure that out. Well, the context wouldn't be created. So it's probably that the context doesn't get created properly. So I could tell it to create the context, I suppose. So we could say like, graph. Actually, I think I could just call graph.create context, something. Oops. Apparently, I cannot. Let's see. Protected. I think we can make it public. Sure. Public virtual create context. It's fine. Still got some errors. Where are my errors at? Probably could have refactored it without having to manually change it, but you know, dems the brakes, folks. Dems the brakes. So when we create a map graph runner, I don't really like the way I did this whole context thing. I think that I have to decide where context gets created and how it gets injected. Right now, it's kind of weird. But this maybe will work. Let's see, because this doesn't do anything crazy. We'll find out. Did it compile? Hey, look at that. If it works, we won't get an error. If it doesn't work, we'll get an error. So now this isn't working. Okay, that's good. So there's no graph. I guess that makes sense. It doesn't. What's the error message? It says null reference graph.create context. So it's saying there's no graph, but the graph gets created here. Oh. It doesn't get created here. So I need to do like graph equals this dot starting graph. So that happens on run. What is this? Where's this set? I feel like I could say the starting graph. Graph equals current graph. I don't know why I wait until it runs to do that. That should be okay. That should work. I hope. Got another 45 minutes-ish before I have to start winding down. I'll be getting up at like 6:10, 6:15, and driving to the office. Tomorrow's gonna be a day. Oh, it's gonna be a day for sure. On the plus side, my daughter does not have her ski meet, so or ski practice, whatever they do these days. You know, people in the Midwest, they ski apparently. That's what they do for extracurricular activity. Never seemed too exciting to me. But then my last name doesn't even, you know, end with the word ski, so that's probably part of it. All right, let's see what happens. How badly can we break our code? Inquiring minds want to know. Let's find out. All right, we broke it. That's good. What do we do? We got a bunch of null references. Perfect. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted. Ha ha ha, the joke. Oh, I didn't even read it. What's the difference between black eyed peas and chickpeas? Black eyed peas can sing us a song. Chickpeas can hum us one. Yeah, I've heard that one before. Hi, Pixel. How are you? So apparently the context did not get the information we need. So I'll have to figure out why that's not working. But I can still cheat. I mean, the biggest cheat is like game main instance current map scene dot. All right, I could just cheat that way. That's not how I want it. I want the context to supply the information. I'm good. I'm good. Why do I have a bunch of null references? Because it's like the story of my life. You want to try and get a job? Nope, no reference. Or no reference? No null reference? Nobody cares. Why do you have a bunch of null references? But oh, I thought that was actually a setup for a joke, but I was still going off about it. Did I compile? I compiled it, right? Because that's what I was waiting for. Mangoes, the librarian asks for books on paranoia. The librarian whispers, they're right behind you. They're right behind you. So Jacob's working on some art stuff with our amazing artist, Wayne. And Wayne's busy because it's the holiday season. And he's like, you know, I can only help you a little bit because I got lots of stuff going on. So Jacob's sending stuff and Wayne's like, oh, I don't know. You got to change this thing. I'm like, man, if only there was a way someone could help with that. It's a mom joke. I'm giving Wayne a hard time. Oh, look at that. Target does not have a map actor component. Okay. That is okay. I can work with that. So we know that the node's running. That's actually really promising. But I have to make sure that when the hero is created, it gets a map actor. So where does that happen? Oh, shit. Map scene. Hero on map. Oh, it's in like the create followers, I think. Follow engine here. Create followers. So when we create a follower, new follower, we create a map character. Prepare followers. I don't think prepare followers even used. Update followers. No. Huh. I don't think this gets used. Yeah, I commented it out. Okay. Why did I do that? Follower.map character. So I think this happens somewhere in here. I think like when it creates the follower. Maybe what I could do is like. So if map hero. dot character game object else. All right. So if we have the character game object here, what we'll do is do. Why are you saying that doesn't work? Oh, it could be null. Okay, we'll do it in here, I guess. And we'll say this dot map character dot map actor and actor dot initialize okay. Now what is the problem here? Oh, yeah, I don't have to set it. Okay, that's fine. All right, so maybe that'll work. We'll find out. Maybe, hopefully. Wayne, isn't it too cold for Wayne? Yeah, not in Minnesota these days with the whole warming of stuff. I mean, it's 23 degrees in Minnesota in December. Do you know how balmy that is? It'll probably get down to 0 in February, but I'm not. I mean, usually by this time of year, it's like covered in snow. Yep. 23 degrees, baby. Nice and balmy. Those who live in Canada, that's 23 freedom units. That's, yeah, 23 for Minnesota is not cold. Not in the winter. That's warm. Don't you live in Canada or something, Guardian? Like, what is your temperature range up there? Okay, so character locked. Good. Did the character move? No. However, no errors, which means I don't know how to test this. But no errors, so that's good. I would call that progress. Map actor. So we need to look at, so this is the update. If is moving. We do call move by direction. Character shouldn't be null because it didn't say it was null. We get a direction. We set the steps. And did we ever set that it's walking? I don't think we ever set that they're walking. I never set, we never set is moving to true. Okay, let's see if this works now. Apparently the average winter temperature in Winnipeg is -8, which I don't know what it's, what temperature, -8, are you in Celsius units or funky units? What kind of units are you? Do you Canadians use Celsius, like Canadian units or freedom units? If only there was some way to find out. Convert Celsius to Fahrenheit. -8 is 17 degrees Fahrenheit. So you're not that much colder than us. Because 0 is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. But there's like there's a temperature that they're both aligned. Right now it's negative 17. Oh, it's negative cold out there. Negative 17. That's 1 degree Fahrenheit. That's cold because you're in Canada. You're colded. Here we're warmed. See what I'm saying? It's balmy. Balmy degrees here. It's very nice. I wore a coat. I just had to wear like a normal coat out to go on a walk. I went out for a walk. Yeah, I know it feels like thinking, oh, you said that. Hardy har har. Normal coat is nice. Not like some coats people have to wear. Okay, apparently that still doesn't work. Okay. So I might have to do a debugger. That's okay. That's okay. Now we can find out what the heck's going on. Enable debugging for the session? Heck yeah. I wear a leather jacket with a hoodie underneath. A hoodie. A hoodie. Zeno is working on school. That's what I wear all winter. That's what I used to do. I used to wear a leather jacket with hoodies underneath. It was a free jacket I got when I was in the Marines. Someone got me like a U2 coat. They just put it in my room because they didn't want it anymore. But nobody would tell me who gave it to me. And I assumed it was someone I knew, but no one would tell me. I was like, okay, I'll take a free leather coat. It was a nice coat. Quote. Don't ya know? Okay, let's debug this sheet all up. So let's see. We need to look at the move step because there must be something going on here for sure. And we need to look at the move by direction because that's the thing that's moving. And then we need to just, chill out a little bit. If we're afraid of Xeno, does that count as xenophobia? Oh, don't you know? It is kind of a bad joke, but kind of a funny joke. It's kind of like there's a pronoun joke. Like what are the pronouns of chocolate? Her, she, or something? Like how do you know chocolate's female? Because the pronouns are her, she. I think that's a funny one. I do have a non-binary friend that's okay with that joke. Huh. All signs would point to my code did not execute. So that means that it didn't even get to this point. Unless I have, no? Move after command, will you? So let's find out, shall we? Oops. The non-binary serial killers slash them. Oh, that's kind of funny too. I don't think you usually get serial killers that have some pronoun specific matter. Because he uses like some cisgendered white guy. Watch out. Something is sus. Something is sus. Something is not happening. So on begin is supposed to be run. how did we, is there something going on here? So let's see. Base graph runner. I think I know what's going on, and this was a problem that was becoming evident the last time, and I didn't properly look into it. So I'm gonna have to stop this. Yeah, stop you. I think what's happening is it's hanging on to some values. Usually just sad white guys. That seems to be the norm. I guess at least people who are trans or identify non-binary have accepted some aspect of themselves. Although they should, you know, given the way some of them are treated, they should definitely have a hate fire for a number of people in the world. So here's my theory. And while it's just a theory, given what I know, it's very possible that it's legit. My theory is that the nodes in question have retained values. And so right now I think I'm looking at like the something node, like just the beginning node. So this isn't going to be the node that's important. This should just like get the next node, right? So my theory here is, so this is the move actor node. This is going to have a value. So it has executed as false, but it's going to have a state. Let's see, where's the state? Has executed as false, has input as true. Where's my state? I thought I had a state in here. Oh no, the commands. Did I set any values here? Context is null. Is done is false. State is running. So the problem is like the state of the command is already treated like it's running right now. So the first time it got set to running, it was always running. Which is, it's actually kind of weird because I thought I did something to clear these values out. Because when we load a node, let's find out. Okay, so we go into load node. Node load. Nope. If node does not equal null, then we say on enter. On enter is actually supposed to reset. I thought it was supposed to reset the state. Sequential commands clear. So these are like, okay. We clear out the sequential commands and we get node commands, which is either okay, so why is it getting it as running though? There's only one command in it. But the state is running. Okay, well, I'm like, I could reset the running state, but it doesn't really, like, I bet you is processing is true as well. Yeah, okay. This goes back to why you can't, with scriptable objects, store values into fields. And I remember I learned this lesson, and then in my mind I'm like, oh no, it's fine. I can just do it this way. So it's only, well, it is a problem even if you're just playing the game because that information gets retained. But it's even more of a problem when it comes to running it within the editor because the state gets retained. So right now, the state of that command is still there because the graph is still open. And so the values stored in that graph are retained. So I think what it means is that any values I need to use for a command need to be stored in the context object, because the context gets created when you run the runner. And it's just really annoying to me that I have to do this. So what would be a good way to handle this? That's going to be the prime question. How do I want to handle this? This actually, I need to work on like the base node command, because the base node command has a state. I don't have an identifier for these objects, so I'll probably need one, I guess. Unless I did put it. Did I give you guys IDs? No. You can't store a GUID. You can just store a string. So I guess what we'll do is private string ID equals. I can do that? I guess so. Public. So if there's no ID, it'll create one. We'll serialize it. Call it a day. So now we have an identifier. Do we store context on these things? Graph context container? Okay. So we do get the context container. I think I made a runner context that has a way to like get and set various variables. So we have a set switch. Okay, so I already have a way to do it. Okay. Set string variable. Okay. Get variable. Set string variable. Okay, so I need one that is. How am I gonna do? I guess I have to do like integers for like enumerators, I guess, because it's got to be something generic, right? So context index. What did I use that for? What is this about? Oh, interesting. Graph runner context has a context index, which is a combination of the ID of the graph runner and the index value. So I just sort of stole from Smile Game Builder's way of doing this. Okay, so then what I can do is in the map act, well, in the, let's go back to the node. It's a node command. So in here, it doesn't extend anything. This is the base class. I need a way to get and set from context. So we'll be like, no, there's no real reason to do it this way. We'll do it from move actor. So for these values, like steps, no, what is it? Where is it? Here it is processing, for instance. We'll make it a property instead. Private bool is processing. And then we'll do context dot get. Oh, did I make a get? Oh, interesting. I wonder if I should just make like a generic get and set. Is that a thing? That's a good idea. I like the idea of using generics. Ooh. Should I store that in the base context though? I like the idea of doing that in the base context container. But the problem is this uses, it already has a get and set. Oh, damn it. Okay. So then what I would need is like, I guess we do use the runner context. I guess I could just use the runner context. I don't like that I have to go through like 2 layers of it, but it's fine. So what did I do? Get string variable. Set string variable. Can I convert these into being generic? Set switch, get switch. So if I did this, I would have to do generic context. It's all runtime context though, right? So what if I don't use the runner context? What if I do oh, come back. Cares. What if I make a variable context? Or like graph variable context. Then I have a clean context thing. Do I need to do I need to do anything here? Let's see. No, base context. Okay. So now I can make a getter and a setter. Is it possible to have a generic collection? Does the collection have to be defined by the type? In graph variable, I would like to make a generic collection that allows for any types to be stored. So imagine I use get and set. It needs the following. Oops, no, damn it. I forgot. This stupid fucking, this thing doesn't let me do new lines. It's all got to be one line. It needs the following. String ID, like good. Index, value of t. So set t, sum ID. Actually, I don't know. Would I want? I don't know if I would want an index, actually. I think it'd be like the name, maybe. It doesn't like, yeah, thank you for your solidarity on this. I think we would want the name of the property, actually. We don't really want an ID. We want the ID of the object that we're storing it, but then we want the name of the property. That makes a whole lot more sense. A numeric index is only important if you are trying to do something that's like array storable, but I'm just trying to like cache a value. Yeah, I know. Copilot actually sucks. It sucks in terms of like the chat. Inline stuff is fine because it like auto completes a lot of stuff I don't want to write. It detects boilerplate code and it's like, yeah, YOLO, boilerplate, yay. String property name. So some ID. Oh, darn it. Stop that. So dumb. Some ID. Or set bool is processing true. Dang it. Stop it. Damn it. It's so ingrained in me to do shift return. That means we want ability to store. I think we're going to end up using an object. Kind of dictionary. So we can retrieve data. I don't need serialization at the time, at least. I've used a little bit. It's good for compiling stuff from Stack Overflow and giving you a breakdown. Yeah, I mean, I use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is like the Excel spreadsheet of AI. No matter what tool exists out there, it all ends up back at Excel. You're like, I'm going to go to a spreadsheet and see what I can figure out. Right? Yeah, so this is kind of what I was thinking it was going to give me. So when we create the context, we'll just have, listen, I don't appreciate I wasn't even the person who coined that idea. I think I had someone who I worked with, because I always like to find a tool to solve a problem. Like, oh, look at this new thing. And he's like, yeah, most of the time people just go back to using Excel. The end of the day, it just kind of does what you want. Or like Google Sheets, nowadays, instead of Excel. So now we have a graph variable context. We could call set. We give it the ID of whatever the referential data is, like the command, the property, and the value. And it's all tied to the context. So it should make sense from the context of the runner. My IT job has brought me over to the dark side. I feel that. We want to get, so let's see. Oops. Okay. No multiple returns in my code. No, thank you. Use MS Office. Oh, Change is so much more convenient than IMAP, I don't care. I don't care. Like, I care so little about that stuff. I don't want to have to think about it. Google products are perfectly fine and acceptable, and I don't have to deal with Microsoft, and I'm happy. So in our context now, so this is going to be the base context for the runner. We're going to put a variable context. So this is graph context. We're going to say public graph variable context. There we go. Perfect. And then when we create the runner, we are going to do what? What are we going to do? There we go. Oh, please stop. Okay. New. Oops. Graph variable context. Oh no. Okay. So this should ensure when we run it for the first time, it's all cleared out. So you'd buy a Stadia subscription instead of a Game Pass one? Are you talking to me? What's Stadia? 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 What is that? Tell me more. What's a Ripstadia? Is that like some enhanced version of whatever you're talking about? What is Stadia related to Google? Is there a way to get the name of a property? Can I do like is processing dot name? Can you do that? Is it possible to get the string name of a property? Martino State is just being a goofball. How did you... Am I that obvious? Is it because of the little side-eye looks I was giving? What's Stadia? It's, you know, Nirwanda, it's a really weird argument. There's a logical fallacy that just because I prefer Google, you know, a professional suite of products over Microsoft, that I would somehow choose a gaming service, one versus the other. You're not that obvious. I've just known you for a long. Yeah, I was like, I bet you I'm giving that twinkle in my eyes, because what's Stadia? Tell me more. Stadia. Well, I gave it away. It was that you pronounced it right the first time. That's probably a good giveaway too. It's true. No, it's a false analogy. First of all, I don't use either. Never use either. I don't have an Xbox Game Pass. If Xbox came to me and said they'd give me lots of money to release our game on Xbox, I would take the money, I would get Game Pass, and I would release our game on Xbox. That is what I would do. If you're listening, Microsoft, just so you know, that's what I would do. In case anyone's wondering. I know you were kidding, Nirwanda. Don't you know that the job of the... And this is it. In comedy, the straight man is the person who pretends like they don't know there's a joke happening. And while I like all flavors, I like pretending like I don't know and I'm taking it seriously. I wouldn't mind putting my game on Xbox. I don't have any problem. The only thing that I don't like about Xbox, every other console, major console, provides a Unity license. So you don't have to pay for Pro. But not Xbox. Monty, what about the gay man in comedy? they're happy. They're very happy. Excited to be here. Okay, so now I can go to node command and I can use the state. So I guess for the node command state, oh, I need to go to here. Hold on. I have to, damn it. Okay. Is command state pending by default? Yeah, so I don't need to even set it. Interesting that I could set and get it. That's cute. Look at that. Microsoft doesn't affect me. Ha 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 ha. Right, because you're not even trying to release. Is that right? Set and get your face. What a child. Okay. Let's see if this works. So just changing that value will also affect it too. So it should now only put it into the context. Context is created on every run. That should clear it out. And it's 10 o'clock, so I need us to get ready to wrap up. Soon, TM. Whenever the build finishes, then it's compile. I was told Unity was supposed to be faster for compilation. Where do dads keep all their jokes? I still swear, like, if I could just do this sort of stuff, if I had enough income from game dev and whatever, I would do a couple streams where I'm like, hey, let's just make a database website. And we'll, not only will we collect jokes, but we would make something that, like, you could generate them, because might as well these days, you can just have AI generate it and vote on them, make them better. What are you sending me, Pixel? Is this a game you're working on? This is not the game you're working on. Are they working on like an RPG or something? What is this little thing you sent me? I can't decide how I feel about it. Can I show it? Or is it like secret? You're working on a platformer. You and Killboy should team up. Killboy's working on platformer. I can show it? Okay. Get ready. This is amazing. This is like the best thing ever. I mean, it's not that much yet. Just an initial idea. See? Just slide into your DMs. Also, look at this. Biggest fans of the year. Stoff, Pixel, Laserburn, Killboy. Oh no, it's Tom Sutton. Lopar Panda, Sorrow, Gavin. Haven't heard from Gavin today. I just didn't want to put it on Discord server because that's not the place for it. There is a self-promotion. There's like an off-topic or something. I'm a little bit less strict about it nowadays. I realize that my understanding of what it takes to make a thriving Discord community is not. I don't have that understanding. I don't know what it takes. Whatever it takes. I'm one of you. One of us. One of us. Hey, at least there's 8 of you. You know? So maybe my viewing average will roughly sometimes be 8. If you stay for the whole time. Man, the pandemic was a great time to start streaming because you get this false sense of what an average viewership would look like. People had nothing to do. They're like, we're going to go watch you stream. Okay, so now we're getting errors again. That's good. Called progress. So is the state not getting set or get? I want to go back to that. Yeah. No, you don't. I've stayed for most of it. You want to go back to the pandemic, like the throes of the pandemic? A new error. Well, it's because I changed how I get and set these values. So the real question is, so what it's saying is there's some kind of null reference. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. So I need to figure out like what, I mean, it's easy enough for me to even test this because I don't even need to stop. Yeah, I can just run it and see it. So variable is not set, it looks like. Context is null. Why is context null? Oh, because it's trying to get state before the context exists. So let me think about this. It's trying to get state before the context exists. That makes sense because I changed how the context is pulled. And right now I'm doing it. So it almost seems like the state of this should be tracked differently. Like I shouldn't even have the node itself retain its own state. Or somehow I should make sure that the node, before I get the state, has the information that it needs. Let me take a look at how I do this. Graph, base graph runner. So when we're executing, we do an update. If there are sequential commands, we peek at the first one, we check the state. So we need to like make sure that the first command, the command always has the current context. The problem is that setup currently does this. But maybe I should just, I mean, I could also just force set the context. Is this private? No, it's public. I don't love this because it requires me to do extra work I probably shouldn't do. But let me just see if this works. Like if I just set the context so it has it available. There could be a different way for me to handle this, but let me just see what happens if I do it that way. There's like a, there's some things that say you shouldn't do it this way because now I have to have knowledge of how context is used and whatever. But then there's also the notion that it's a single line in a runner where the likelihood of me having to change this is low. So like, even though it's like this pebble that's annoying or this little itch, it's very unlikely that this code has to get changed much. At least I think that's how it would be. I was once in a cover band. It was called Blanket. It's kind of okay. It's not the greatest. My whole life, I thought Chewbacca was an Ewok. Wookiee mistake. They're not even like simple. I don't even know how you would make that mistake. That's like total amateur hour. I really wanted to make a joke about Blender. Because when I said amateur hour, I thought of armatures. And I wanted to make something that it was like, I thought Blender was going to be easy until I realized they needed skeletons. Armature hour, like something like that. Target does not have a map actor component. How is that possible? I thought I already solved that one. Let's see. Really? Do you still think you're processing? Shut your face. Can I just set this value? I think I can set it. I want to stop processing. I can do this. Oh, you know what? I'll just stop it. Screw it. So what did I do? There's something wrong where it's not getting the actor now. But I didn't change anything about the context. So we'll find out. Let's run it again. Then I'm going to wrap up. Boo! Go back to game dev. Why doesn't James Bond fart in bed? Because if he did, it would blow his cover. That's a good one. It's not the greatest. I've got this awful disease where I can't stop telling airport jokes. My doctor says it's terminal. I'd tell you more of those jokes, but they'd all just go over your head. On the plus side, if you're enjoying them, time will fly. Because you're having fun. I did try to expand my my repertoire of airport jokes, but they were all pretty plain. The worst part about airport jokes is often you just have to wing it. I used to tell airport jokes, but I got heckled a ton. I've got a lot of baggage. Do you think my airport joke career is going to take off anytime soon? Oh, thanks Imperiex for the follow. See, I thought my jokes were going to make me crash and burn, but I got a follow, so. My wife messaged me something. You can tell you're proud of yourself. Thanks for the 100 bits, Pixel. Is players true? Yeah, Huron map is. Does the target have a actor? No, it doesn't have an actor. Shut your face. Why don't you have an actor? Did we not get an actor? Why did we not get an actor? There's nothing in here that says why we wouldn't get an actor. Because there's not even like... Shut your face. The actor was fired. That's why. Yeah, because the actor used to work on a set of an airplane. It was taxing. Map engine followers 0. I guess what I could do is like, if there's no actor set, it could add it. But it didn't even say it failed to create it. So I guess I could see what happens with the followers. Because the follower has to be created somehow. I don't know if my airplane jokes are really landing well with you. I was all geared up for them too. I can go all night with these. Oh. Wait, so the breakpoint never even hit? Huh. That tells me that maybe the reason is... Oh, weird. Did I not put a breakpoint? Is it? No, it's running. Is there a different way followers are created? Oh, so okay. It's because if you don't have followers, it doesn't call it this way. It's all right. Right now, I'm just flying by the seat of my pants, you know? Oh, I see. Here's the real problem. So we'll do like a setup actor method. The real problem is that there's more than one constructor, and I just didn't, do anything there. So public, private. Void. Put that code in there. Recreate. Map careless contains graphic entry. Where's we go? Return true. Map character equals null. Character graphic does not equal empty. Then burpee burpee, Mr. Murphy. Multiple constructors, you say? Yes, it's called constructor overloading. If that's what they call it in the biz, at least, if you know what I mean. See, set factor. Here we go. I know words. I know how to talk about solid principles. They're not soft. They are solid. Oops. What do you call a factory that makes okay products? I feel like that's more like an okay factory. Satisfactory sounds like better than... Also, there's a video game called that. Come on, Schwartz. I feel like I was getting a bunch of text messages all of a sudden. Oh, okay. Good, it's only 10:20. very much exactly during the time that I was expecting. I'd like to just, like... Okay, even if the character doesn't move, I'd like the code to execute that tries to move it and have that code break. That would be fine with me. I just want to have something happen so I can wrap up in a way that makes me feel better about myself. Does the target character have an actor? That's the question. Target is null. Do you have an actor? Do you have the time? Fudge your face! So, I guess the easiest way to do this is cheat. Now this is going to work no matter what, because it won't be null. If it's null, we're screwed. So, if not follower dot, oops, no. If actor equals null. Oh, no, follower dot map character dot actor equals null. Then follower dot setup actor. Yeah. We'll just change it. Make it public, sure. Screw it. And then we'll just return it. So now, even if the actor did not exist, it will after this. I don't know why it's not being created, but I just don't freaking care right now. I just want you to work. Who cares about proper programming practices? Every once in a while, I'll look at code and be like, why did I ever do that? And then I remember that at some point in the past, I said, I'm just going to throw some code in here and move on. And then I never went back to fix it. And then later I questioned why I made such terrible decisions. Past Motzi is very, very sneaky about that sort of thing. People tell me I should learn to change a tire, but I'm pretty comfortable with my wardrobe. That joke has my head spinning. Because tires spin. Folks, these are where the jokes meet the road. I was going to say where the rubber meets the road on these jokes, but that didn't work either. You know what? Fine. Oh, look at that. Look how... It's failed to create follower character. What? No, now we're getting all these errors. That's so weird that they're happening now. It's okay, but it's just weird that I'm now seeing the error messages. Target does not have a map actor component, so it can't get the character game object. Why can't we get the character game object? So for some reason I can't get the player's game object? That's so weird. It's because the player doesn't... The player is a type of character that doesn't normally have an object. What is the map? So let's see, if we go to the map scene and go to hero. I need a hero. get hero. This dot hero. Would this return an object we can mess with? We'll try this one. So if this dot hero dot actor equals null, then hero game object equals literally just gonna steal code from before. See if this works. So what we're gonna say is hero game object dot add component don't care about you, and then I think I need to actually return it. Okay, let's see if this works. I don't know. And then I need to go to the map target resolver and change this to use get hero. We'll see what this does. Maybe the hero on map isn't the right one. Maybe the follower one is worse, because I think that what happens is when it's specific to the hero, if the other followers are not being displayed, then it doesn't update that appropriately. So I'm hoping. What did the police officer say to his belly button? You're under a vest. I feel like there's better jokes you can do with that. Something with like abs. Like you're absolutely amazing. I don't know. This is it. Moment of truth. Moment of zen. Totally getting tons of broken things. This is great. Game objects is null. That sucks. I don't think this is going to work. So I'll have to figure out how we get the game object for the hero. Don't think this is going to work. I think this is going to fail. This is still a targeting issue. So I haven't even got a chance to look at like the functioning issue. Oh, did it get something? What is it? It must have got something. That's actually progress, question mark? No. Where is this failing? Why is this failing? What is going on here? Like what's calling this code? Oh, so we are. Oh, so we are making it into the code. Okay, that's good. That is progress, actually. I said I would take it. Oh yeah, because I don't have the map information. Character walk. That's good. No, that's actually not too shabby. This is probably where it's failing. Because it's doing this get collision height. But there's no map. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. That is precisely the progress I was hoping I'd get. And it reminds me that I forgot a key thing I meant to do, which is to cheat. So in the actor, we don't have the map information because I didn't pull it properly. So you see it says map is null, but I can actually get the map. So I'm gonna totally cheat this right now. What is it? Map. I think it's map drawer. There it is. So this is how we get the map data. It's not how we should, but it's how I'm doing it right now. Event height map needs to come from. I don't know if this really matters. It may not matter. Where does this get populated here? So if I look at like map engine, event height map comes from the map engine. Is this public? It's private, but it can be public. Okay, so I can cheat that one too for now. Oops. So we should be able to do like game main dot current map engine dot map event height map. Boom. Okay. So that gives us the information that might work. We'll see. If this does work, I will be happy. If it does not work, I will be sad. Those are the only options. Always takes longer when we have debugger on. What do beekeepers put in their party bags? Freebies. I like that one. Those jokes are all the buzz. What is the best time of day? 6:30. Hands down. Time jokes get me all wound up. A German beat me at battleships. I don't mean to sound like a sore loser, but the first thing he said was, "Good games, thank you very much." That's not bad. It's okay. I'll allow it. So much for leaving at 10:15. I blame Pixel. Okay, let's see what happens. Run graph. I mean, obviously there's broken, but that's it. They moved. The character moved. That's good. That's what we want to see. It's a good point to end on, because now I got to figure out how I broke other things. That's fine. I'm okay with breaking stuff. I'm a developer. What do you mean? We always break stuff. Break stuff and take names. That's how we roll. I blame Grogu. Nah, Grogu eats stuff. It's a whole different thing. Should we go somewhere? Where should we go? Am I muted? I am muted. I guess I could go see Jitspo. Jitspo tends to be the one person I end up raiding a lot, but he's pretty good about ignoring me once I raid, so I'm okay with that. No, muted is in like my tab is muted. All right, let's go see Jits. I'm gonna wrap up, go to bed, get to work tomorrow. It'll be fun, I'm sure. Thanks all for hanging out. Be back on Saturday. Hopefully I'll have some more stuff to show with this battle nonsense. I don't know. We'll see what happens. All right, y'all.